started. Good evening to all of you. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law, I wish to state that on July 25th, 2014, the notice of this meeting of the Upper Township Committee was posted on the official Township Bulletin Board, mailed to the Cape May County Gazette, Atlantic City Press, the Ocean City Sentinel-Ledger, the Herald Times, and filed with the Township Clerk. Tonight's meeting is being video recorded up until the closed session portion of this meeting and will be available on UTTV channel 97 and on the Upper Township website. They hereby direct that this announcement made a part of the minutes of this meeting, and I would ask all to rise for the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Barbara, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr? Here. Mr. Coggins? Here. Mr. Ansara?
Here.
Mr. Young is absent. Mayor Colombo?
Here.
All members, board members are present.
Okay, before we begin, I'd like to at least make an announcement why Committeeman Hobie Young is not here. He is actually representing us this evening at the 11 and 12-year-old Upper Township Ocean City Kids District 16 Championship in Toms River. The Sectional 4 Championship is tonight, and the winner will play in the Northeast Regional Tournament in Connecticut, and that winner gets to go to the Little League World Series. I'm sure many of you have seen and followed what our baseball teams have done in the newspaper. Certainly the press has been covering it. The 9 and 10-year-olds won the state championship, and they comprise of all Upper Township players, and they are scheduled to play Rhode Island for the national tournament. They will not be eligible because of their age for the Little League World Series, but they are the state champions, and that's the first time that's ever occurred from anyone in Cape May County, a team in Cape May County. The 10 and 11-year-olds are Upper Township Ocean City kids, and they finished up as runners-up in the District 16 tournament. And again, as I mentioned, the 11 and 12-year-olds, comprised of both Upper Township and Ocean City kids, are the District 16 champions, and they are, hoping tonight to fulfill a dream to be the state champs and move forward. So Hobie, who has the responsibility for recreation, felt that it would be important to be there this evening, and I certainly agree with that. So we wish them good luck tonight, and hopefully maybe before this meeting's over, someone will send us a text as to how well they did. We also are very fortunate tonight to recognize 3 individuals, Brock Zarowski and Charlie Casaboom and Nick Layton, for their outstanding achievements in the Wrestling Association Eastern National Championship. So what I'd like to do is recognize each one individually and read the resolution to them as well. So would Brock come up first? All right, Brock, so you can come up here, but I'll read the resolution. So Brock Zarowski, who has wrestled for 3 years with the Upper Township Green Hornets, had an outstanding season with the team leading 55-7 record and 18 pins while competing in the midget age division at 70-pound weight class. Brock wrestled on a national dual team earlier this year, where he competed against some of the toughest competition in the nation and compiled a 5-1 record with 2 pins. Brock won 13 individual tournament championships, placed 5th at the Warwick Shore National Championships, and became only the 8th Upper Township Green Hornet wrestler in team history to become a Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Association Eastern National Champion. It is appropriate that on behalf of the citizens of Upper Township, we congratulate Brock on his national championship title and celebrate the dedication, hard work, and perseverance that he has exemplified while becoming an elite athlete on a national level. So therefore, be it resolved by the Township Committee, on behalf of the citizens of the Township of Upper, to congratulate Brock Zarowski on winning the MAWA Eastern National Championship in the midget 70-pound class. So congratulations to Brock. He must be quite talented, so I'm going to give you this. And you know what? We're going to get you in the newspaper, so come on over here so we get a shot for you. thank you and we congratulate you. You are a goodwill ambassador to the township. Very good. Stay right over here while we bring up each one individually, and then we'll maybe get a group shot of all three of them together. So next I want to call out Charlie Casadum. So Charlie Casadum, who has wrestled for 4 years with the Upper Township Green Hornets, had an outstanding season, compiling a 55-13 record with 22 pins while competing in the midget age division at the 75-pound weight class. Charlie wrestled varsity for the Green Hornets for the 3rd consecutive season and also wrestled on the national duels team comprised of elite wrestlers from across the nation. Charlie is one of the most decorated wrestlers in Upper Township wrestling history, winning numerous national titles, which include being a 2-time War at Shore national champion, the 2012 Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Association national champion, and whereas this year Charlie placed 4th at the North Jersey State Championships, 5th at the War at Shore Nationals, and 2nd at MAW Eastern National Championships in May 2014. It is appropriate that on behalf of the citizens of Upper Township, we congratulate Charlie on his state and national championship titles and celebrate the dedication, hard work, perseverance, and exemplified while becoming an elite athlete on the national level. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Committee on behalf of the citizens of Upper Township to congratulate Charlie Casadum on achieving 2nd place in the midget 75-pound weight class of the MAW Eastern National Championship. So let's give a round of applause. Charlie, you certainly don't want to weigh 75 pounds. Again, congratulations, what a great accomplishment. And as I stated earlier, I mean, you guys have represented Upper Township not only locally, but on the state and national scale, and for that, we're real grateful that you've really shown very high your colors and what you're able to achieve. So, we're going to put you over here, and we're going to do a 21. Sorry. You stay right there. Okay, so now can we call Nick Layton? Whereas Nick Layton, who is the first-year wrestler with the Green Hornets, had an outstanding season compiling a 29-11 record with 23 pins while competing in Bantam Age Division at the 70-pound weight class. Nick competed in 13 tournaments during his first season, winning 7 individual championships. This year, Nick surpassed expectations by placing 8th at the Mid-Atlantic Wrestling Association MAWA Eastern National Championships in May 2014, earning a spot on the podium and All-American status. It is appropriate that on behalf of the citizens of Upper Township, we congratulate Nick on his national championship title and celebrate the dedication, hard work, perseverance he has exemplified while becoming an elite athlete on the national level. Well, therefore be it resolved by the Township Committee on behalf of the citizens of the Township of Upper to congratulate Nick Layton on achieving 8th place in the Bantam 70-pound weight class MAW Eastern National Championship. So again, a round of applause. Continues because there's no way you're 70 pounds. So, a great accomplishment there. We're all very proud of you, and again, Upper Township is very proud of all of you. We'll get a single picture, and if you would, Colin, can we have a picture with all three together? Yes. All right, smile hard, hold those things up. You guys did a great job. Congratulations, Paul. We're looking forward to great things in future years. Thank you all for coming. I'll tell you what, we'll give you a chance to scoot out of here, because I'm sure you got stuff to do. So, congratulations again to everybody.
That's a wonderful dog.
You too.
Good night.
Two, Tom, third, by the way.
2-2? Thank you. Appreciate the update.
You can't help but root for these kids. Wow. Doing great.
And now it becomes very quiet, and the echo goes on in the meeting hall here. So, we will move on, please, Barbara, with the resolutions, the rest of the resolutions.
Can we have the approval of the minutes?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. Would someone like a motion to approve the minutes, open and close, from the last meeting?
Motion to approve. Second.
Any corrections, omissions, deletions anyone's aware of? Hearing none. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barnes?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
I don't know what I do with my reading glasses. Okay, there. Okay. So, Barbara, do you have something for, before we go into resolutions, I apologize, do you have something for us?
I just have one item I'd like to report. The Upper Township Challenger Sports has a concert and fireworks DVD available, of the 4th of July, available in the clerk's office for anyone that's interested. It's a $10 donation to Upper Township Challenger Sports.
Okay.
And that's all I have this evening.
Daniel?
Nothing at this time, but we do have a couple contract negotiation matters, litigation, and personnel matters for closed session.
Okay. Paul?
Thank you. I just want to give you a couple of updates on some projects. First, I'm still in the process of getting quotes for the Strathmere emergency work. I did have one quote already in, but I'm looking to a couple other contractors to get some other quotes. And also, I'm reaching out to some other vendors, working with Dr. Farrell on some alternatives to just doing straight sand as an alternative to try to get more bang for our buck if we have to mobilize and do something.
I had a conversation with Paul. I mean, obviously, the quote, I'm sure everyone saw what the amount was, and it was rather disheartening, the amount of money that it will be from sand, and especially since, we have the opportunity of having a huge project that will be totally funded in the fall. So what I asked Paul to do was to also come up with potential alternatives, like, is it possible to put some additional rock growing in front of, to shore up what's already there, to get us through, so that, it becomes more of a, I wouldn't say permanent structure, but more of a solid kind of structures, because in the past, we've put sand down and trucked it in, and we've had, the last experience, we had little success, because within a week or two of a storm, it was all washed away. And so in an effort to try and be proactive and certainly prevent any further opportunity for potential damage, if we could come up with a way of doing something that's more structurally sound, and maybe not need as much to shore up what we need to do, it's something we'll do. We are still very committed to making sure that personal structures and our infrastructure will be protected. But we are looking at alternatives. We've had meetings with Dr. Farrell, we've had meetings with the Army Corps and FEMA and Strathmere, and also with the state OEM group. So we're all trying to come up with ways to protect the infrastructure and do it in a reasonable way until such time that the Army Corps has an opportunity to come in and do their project. So, Paul, I appreciate your effort to try and come up with some alternatives and to reach out to other potential sources to come up with a way. But as we voted at the last meeting, we're ready to rock and roll if we need to, but in the meantime, we're looking from other opportunities as well. And I don't think, and I guess my question to you is, Dan, if there are Plan B, Plan C, based on the situation, the fact that we voted an emergency situation, that wouldn't change the need to allocate whether we trucked in sand or we did other things, or?
No, there was no specific statement in the declaration as to what emergency measures you would take.
Okay.
Obviously, it's going to require authorization if and when you take them, a specific authorization from the Township Committee.
Right. But we're looking at every avenue to be, protective and also frugal of expenses if there's a way of doing it in that way, so. Okay.
Thank you. The other thing, I just wanted to give an update. We're doing some additional work at the school. I did the engineering work for the revised parking at the primary school, and the contractor started work last week, and they're doing the final paving of some expanded parking at the primary school right now. So Public Works Department had done some of the preliminary grading work before the contractor came in, but the school's contractor is in there working now on the stuff that we had worked on. And that's all I had to report on. The pavilion, the area has been grubbed and graded out, and I think they're just waiting to schedule to pour the concrete slab, and I think they're waiting also on a building permit for the footing for the structure itself.
Okay.
That's all I had. Thank you.
Barbara?
Nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor?
Okay. Mr. Coggins?
First, I'd just like to repeat or reiterate your wishes to the 9 and 10-year-olds. Congratulations for a very successful season. Great for them. Maybe we'll have a buddy, Joe Gatto and Mike Trout. Who knows?
Hey.
Also, nothing extraordinary in finance, but I did want to give a report on the second quarter expenditures for the planning and zoning boards. In the second quarter, our expenses for operating a planning and zoning board were $31,035. We heard 14 applications and collected $4,850 in fees combined. Our escrow account, we had deposits of $4587 and expenditures of $5,287 for a net loss of $700 in the escrow account. Year to date, we're at $66,496 for hearing 21 applications, which is between 3 and 4 applications per month. So we may want to continue to monitor that and have another look at maybe some of the efficiencies of combining the planning and zoning board and eliminating some of that expense.
Okay. Mr. Sarah?
Last thing we talked about, purchasing a new side loader trash truck. John and myself, we would sit down and boy, and we had a good conversation on that. And we came up with some of the things that, we think more feasible to buy than we know that we need. What we did was that the plan would be to replace one of the railroad truck with a 3-man crew at the trash recycle, with a side loader. That would give us a reallocation of headcount of about 1.8 on that one. Scrap rate will be less in the off-season with 1 railroad truck, 2-man crew, and will give us a reallocation of 0.6 headcount. The commercial we're talking about will be less in the off-season, the scrap rate crew had an additional 0.4 to the headcount factor. This will remove the 3 headcounts from the sanitation operation, reassigned to other routes. It will be also 4 remainder older railroad trucks that we'd like to develop for disposal. Therefore, this board recommend that we go and purchase the side loader truck. And the one thing is that the line that's gave by the sale of the railroad trucks for one, we can go and the fund that cannot be used maybe outside to either purchase the future trucks or parts that are needed to years. So it will be a dedicated fund and it cannot be touched out of the purchase or which parts the surface bid we have. At this time,
We have a resolution later on to accept the bid, is that what? And then I also think that there's also a resolution that would allow us to sell surplus materials.
But these are the issue for railroad trucks that we don't, not that many anymore.
The surplus on the resolution this evening, which for other equipment, there will be some additional surplus as we move forward after the purchase of this truck. And I think what we'll be able to do is by the next meeting, identify the pieces of equipment that will be surplus and we'll be able to put up for auction.
Yeah, so I guess my question is does it make sense to put it up and approve for auction at this point, or at least wait until we receive the truck, which will probably take, what, several months after we accept the bid? So, I mean, I don't know, you guys can explain to me the need, but, you know, I'm not sure that the appropriate time is to do it now. The appropriate time to do it may be when we actually get receivership of the truck. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think we should wait till the truck is here and then it's.
I mean, what do you think? I mean, that's just...
Well, if it were me, especially based on this time of year, I would probably look towards identifying the trucks, preparing a resolution. By the time we vote on that resolution, we'll probably be into the first, possibly second meeting of September. So by that time, regardless of whether or not the third truck has been delivered, we should be in a position operation and we should be able to...
That's right.
I actually, we did a pretty detailed review of the daily grid with Roy. Roy had a pretty good operational plan. In addition to this, there may be also some upside in examining how we're doing our commercial recycling and possibly doing something with containerizing that commercial recycling that would reduce our amount of time we're spending on the street and handling materials. So I think it's a pretty decent plan that's come up with.
Now, just play it out, because how many people does this free up from our initial program?
Okay, from our initial program, going back to the rear loaders,
Well, we have 7 trucks, the railroad wants, so we have,
well, if you're looking at just the trash and recycling operation, where you're looking at basically a 4-truck operation, 2 and 2, 3 main crews, 12 heads. This will take us down for strictly the trash and recycling operation, and that's net of our bulk collection and everything else.
And that doesn't include Stratton, right?
Well, it doesn't include Strathmere. Strathmere's a 1 day. Strathmere, you've got obviously the seasonal factor that affects Strathmere. Currently, it's being collected in summertime using 2 rear loaders with 3 main crews. The reason they're going to rear loaders is because of some of the issues you have with parking over there and trying to get summer residents and people with rental homes to be able to conform to one side of the street collection. You'd almost have to eliminate parking on one side of the street to make the automated side loaders feasible over there. But using the 2 rear loaders with 3 main crews in the summertime is probably the best way to collect Stratton at this point. Once we hit the off-season, which would be probably second week in September, we can take those 2 rear loaders from 3 main crews, drop them down to 2 main crews. And then once you get into probably the November, December timeframe, when everybody who's moving off to warmer climates for the winter is gone, you can take that down to 1 truck with a 2 main crew. It can also double back and pick up your commercial recycling, which is essentially going to take you from 4 rear load trucks on the street now. That's 2 for trash and recycling. That's 1 for commercial and 1 for vegetation. In the wintertime, that Strathmere process will be done with 1 truck. Same truck will go after the 2 main crew. They'll collect trash, they'll collect recycling, the way back from collecting recycling, they'll pick up your commercials, will be done with the trash.
So based on Mr. Barr's question, when we get to the 3rd truck,
Well, when we get to the 3rd truck, net of that, what you started out with was you were using 4 rear loaders to collect trash and recycling. 4 rear loaders each had 3 main crews, so you had 12 people in the street. So now basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be using 3 trucks to take the place of 4. And you're going to be using 3 men to take the place of 12. So your excess head count on 4 days of the week is going to be, you're going to be saving 9 heads basically.
So getting back to your original request, you want to make a motion that,
We go ahead and push the final, for the final process.
well, I think we have that in resolution already. We'll wait for that.
That's an item on the agenda.
Right, it's not on the agenda, so what I think you can certainly make the motion to start the process in identifying the trucks that we would like to ultimately sell or dispose of, however we want to word it, based on the fact
I'm
that...
open for auction, that's right. Okay, I'll make a motion for that.
So I think the motion should be to direct the public works superintendent to identify 4 trucks that are going to put up for auction, that we would be able to have into a resolution that we can vote on by the second meeting in September.
Exactly.
And you're seconding that?
Yes.
All right, so we have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion? Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Sarah?
Yes.
Mr. Young? Mr. Wambo, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Excuse me. Motion is carried.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Mr. Barr?
Only one announcement, tomorrow our volunteer rescue squad is going to have a fundraiser at the Texas Roadhouse in Vineland. So anyone interested, taking their kids up there or significant other, it's going to be from 3 to 7, and proceeds from your dinner goes towards the volunteer rescue squad. That's all I have to report.
Okay. I only have a couple quick things. One, Mr. Barr, who is responsible for the courts, and Mr. Young, and I, and Ms. Sharp have been working on replacing our Director of Court System, and we have had an upwards of 50 applicants at this point, and the screening process is going on, so I just wanted to update everybody that eventually, hopefully the list will be whittled down, and then from there, we'll start the opportunities to talk to the individuals and you know, ultimately make a decision and bring it back to the full committee. So just to give you an update on that, that's going, you know, rather well. And as I mentioned earlier, we've had we had one meeting Friday a week ago with state OEM people, with county OEM people, with Scott Morgan, who represents our OEM locally, Paul, myself, Dr. Farrell, and then Mr. Riordan was there, who is the kind of deputy OEM person that represents Strathmere. And they surveyed the area. We're looking at what alternatives are available. We're also looking at if there's any funding available, because it is an emergent situation. They're looking at it as to whether or not it's an absolute new problem, which has been heightened because of the passing of Hurricane Arthur, or is this a continuation of Hurricane Sandy that really we lost a lot of beach from that, and does that qualify us for additional emergent funds until we get the Army Corps? So there's a lot of things going on. Everybody's trying to work to get to the end-all situation, and that is to protect personal property and protect the street ends and our infrastructure. And so all I can say is that there's a lot of things going on. I just don't have an answer for you at this point. But because we passed the resolution, that already went to the state OEM. Everyone is aware of it, and they're also talking to, and correct me if I'm wrong, Paul or Dan, the DEP land use people.
The Bureau of Coastal Engineering.
Right, to you know, see what you know, they're willing to do, because obviously part of the erosion that's taking place is on the state inlet side, the north side of Strathmere, which is not our property, that's a state property. So everybody's been kept in the loop, and Ted, I'll acknowledge you, the aerial pictures that you've taken certainly have gone a long way to help this process go along, so thank you for that as well. Okay, so let's now move on to the resolutions.
Item number 4, canceling taxes on exempt property, block 24, lot 44.
Move the resolution?
Second.
Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Plumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 5, canceling taxes on block 558, lot 51.01.
Move the resolution.
Second?
Please call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 6, canceling taxes on duplicate assessment, Block 581, Lot 1.02.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 7, reappointment of James R. Birchmeyer as municipal court judge for the Township of Upper.
Move the resolution.
Second.
And this is for a 3-year term, and obviously the committee is very pleased with the leadership that Judge Birchmeyer has given the township, and he's looking forward to continuing that. So would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 8, authorizing a 1-year extension of the contract with Cape Professional Billing, DBA Cape Medical Billing for emergency medical billing services.
Second.
And we've been working with Barbara on this, and we have had discussions on this. This is the billing based beyond of insurance when we're using our rescue squad. So would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 9, accepting the bid and authorizing the execution of a contract with Grand Turk Equipment of Bridgeport, PA for the furnishing and delivery of one 2013 or newer automated refuse collection vehicle in the amount of $254,866.
Tony, now you can make that.
Second.
Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Mr. Sarah?
Yes.
Mayor Palumbo?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 10, declaring certain township property and equipment as surplus and authorizing its disposal by sale on an online auction website.
Mr.
This is to dispose of all the trucks that we don't no longer need, some of the trucks.
Before you vote on it, I just want to bring to your attention, there is some information that came to me. There is, our resolution right now says that we use a company called GovDeals, which we've used in the past. There is another company called MuniBid. I understand there's no fees. We do pay some fees to GovDeals for them to sell our equipment. MuniBid would pass those fees along to the bidder. So I don't know if you want to consider looking at maybe another company to use to sell the surplus equipment, and maybe save some fees that way.
I have a question too on the equipment, however, I noticed on the reading material that's posted regarding that, we set some minimum bid prices. What are we using as a criteria for that minimum bid price?
That comes from Public Works.
Yes, that
Yeah,
came from
it comes
supervisor.
from Public Works.
That was more separate.
Do
We
we,
can have a mechanic, I guess, and a job, goes to the second.
Typically on the smaller trucks, it's the scrap value.
Okay.
And then with the online bidding, we've always done much better with the online bidding in the past than when we've done local auctions or, here at the town hall. So I don't think in the last 2 auctions we've had, nothing has sold for the minimum bid.
Right.
no, and the reason I questioned that was I did see a couple of the dump trucks looked as though the minimum bid was a little bit lower than what the scrap value may be. That's why I kind of.
We can take another look at it.
And Barbara, I have a question. Are we approved through the Division of Local Government Services for that other program?
For MuniBid?
Yes.
Yeah, we are, Paul?
The only thing I have to say about that, though, is we've had great success with the other one.
With
And
GovDeals?
So if we're passing on the expense of whatever it costs to put it on Gov to the person that's purchasing it, I'd be reluctant to switch because we've had good success. I mean, now we're doing an experiment with another.
Is that a new company?
It's not a new company. I could do a little bit more research to find out if how many other municipalities locally are using MuniBid, and maybe compare the other auction sites and bring some information back to you.
So I recommend that.
be tabled.
Yes,
That's
because I think in gov bids, correct me if I'm wrong, if you remember in gov bids, if something goes on the site, another government entity can pretty much free of charge
Yeah.
get that piece of equipment.
The gov
You can
deals.
swap.
Not gov deals. We have an agreement with.
the county.
With the county co-op members, that if we, put items up for surplus, we act, before we put them for surplus, we circulate this list to
To the
two other
county.
county agencies to see if,
Now, will this program allow the same thing to occur? Or
The-
we just
the muni-
we circulate it first?
well, we first off to offer it to the other county co-op people,
Okay.
and then we would put it either on gov deals, or if we want to investigate muni bid, you'd do that.
Okay, so, do we need a motion to table?
Yes.
Motion to table.
Second.
Call the roll?
Yes.
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 Motion's carried.
Well, it doesn't look like we have any correspondence or new business that has come up since we put the agenda out, so rather light agenda this evening. So would someone like to make a motion to pay the bills?
Motion to pay the bills.
You have to read the statement. I hereby move that all claims submitted for payment at this meeting be approved, then incorporated in full in the minutes of this meeting.
Second.
Would you call the roll, please?
Yes.
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 Yes. We don't have any report from municipal departments either, so at this time, we've reached the public comment session of the meeting. I would ask anyone that'd like to address the Township Committee to come forth, state your name and your address, and then your reason for addressing the Township Committee. Yes, sir.
Thanks, Mr. Radner. I missed last meeting, but thanks to Township TV, I was able to
Catch up, huh?
Carolina site, and I appreciate the Township Committee doing the emergency appropriation. But like you said, I hate to see sand just dumped in the ocean and washed away, so I mean, my brainstorming ideas could Jenny, if it's out there, wouldn't it? If you fill sandbags and put them there to keep your current from going through there.
Well, I actually had the sandbag idea myself. It kind of got poo-pooed a little bit by the engineers, but, I think what we're looking for is something that may be more structurally sound than sand, for just a temporary basis, because the Army Corps does not, they're very strict on what we can do, and they're, at this point, 100%, all we're doing is sand. But to me, because it's an emergency situation, because we need to protect the property, especially that north end, the tip is really not good, and really, with Paul's engineering background, he's been looking at it, and we're actually talking a block heading south towards, the lifeguard station. We're trying to come up with a way, because the estimate we got in sand was incredibly high, higher than what we actually put in as our amount that we were responsible for at the last beach replenishment, just to put a temporary, truck in sand. And that's just not, at this point, something that we can consciously do. I mean, we're not going to shed our responsibilities, not by any means. But that's why we're looking at alternatives here to see if there's a way that something can be put down, if anything, for a temporary basis, even if it means we have to remove the stones before the sand's put down, at least it does a temporary thing to protect it until we get through this, period of time.
The only other idea was, I remember the last time we were going through this, there was talk of permits were around on the bay side near the last street by the bridge. And, I don't know, can we get permits to get that sand there? I mean, that sand's just laying there, it's cheaper to buy it.
but it's not enough sand. I mean,
Plain back.
Yeah.
if we can't,
I mean, there's as much sand back there as what you would be trucking in.
no.
Well, no, this was...
Not from where we can-
1,000 cubic yards or...
Yeah, not from where we can get it. Yes, there's a lot of sand in the Back Bay area, yes, but it's not sand that we can get to.
Off the street in there.
No, right, yeah. I mean, the street end's what, 40 feet wide by maybe 50 feet in depth. The amount of sand that we're looking at is a 200 feet wide area by 200 feet out into the ocean, averaging 10 feet going down to 4 or 5 feet. So we don't have that much sand at our one street end.
alley to get to St. Beach? Go around, or?
Well, I mean, we do have Williams, which really would create some difficulties, but there is an opportunity to get down there if we had to from there. But honestly, at high tide, there's no room to move trucks past there either, from Williams north. I mean, I was there yesterday and took a walk up there, and, at low tide, it's been exceptionally low. This past weekend, it was okay. But, at high tide, forget it. I mean, there's just no room to move, especially if we want to go to stay away from
Rarely low tide anymore.
it would be nice, because it was exceptionally low this whole weekend.
Thanks.
Would anyone else like to address the Township Committee? Okay, so hearing no one else interested in addressing the committee, I appreciate you coming this evening, and we will close the public portion and entertain a motion to go into executive session. And I'll call on Mr. Coggins to read the declaratory statement.
I hereby move that a resolution be incorporated into the minutes authorizing the Township Committee to enter into an executive session for the following matters pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Act: contract negotiation, accounts receivable management, EMS collection services, contract negotiation for our cell tower leases, litigation for Upper Township versus Yankin Sansone, personnel items. I also include in my motion the estimated time and the circumstances under which the discussion conducted in closed session can be disclosed to the public as follows. It is anticipated that the matters discussed in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Township Committee that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. With respect to employment and personnel matters, such discussions will be made public if and when formal action is taken or when the individuals involved consent that it can be made public. With respect to contract negotiations, such matters will be made public when negotiations have ceased and there is no longer a reason for confidentiality. With respect to litigation matters, such discussions will be made public when litigation is complete and the applicable appeal period has expired.
Second. Why don't you call the roll, please?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you all. It was a quick meeting tonight. We appreciate your attendance.